Hey everybody, it's Cauliflower Man here. I'm here to talk to you about another cryptocurrency today, and I think this one is probably the most attractive second generation anonymous coins. The reason is its total market capitalization is like 10,000 Bitcoin. It's like a little over $3.5 million or something like that as of the time of this video. That'll probably change by the time you get this, but if Bitcoin is 65 billion and this one is like 3.5 million, you can do the math. There's a lot of opportunity for growth here. And one thing that I think really sets this coin apart is that it uses an RSA-based zero knowledge algorithm. It's an RSA-based zero knowledge cryptocurrency. Now that sounds like word salad to everybody who's probably listening, so I'm going to go through that step by step so that you understand each bit. When I say it's RSA based, that's just a security protocol that's been in use for a very long time. The only way to break it is if somebody figures out quantum computing. So like it's unbelievably secure. So the fact that it uses RSA, it's a secure algorithm. The thing that Zerocoin that gives it its name is the next bit, though, is where it's zero knowledge. Now, what zero knowledge is all you have to do to add zero knowledge to any sort of system or any sort of blockchain is add it's called a burn blockchain. In this burn blockchain, all it does is you'll send tokens from the original blockchain to the burn blockchain, and then the burn blockchain original token to the right place, but the burn blockchain will burn its tokens when it happens. So with Zerocoin, they use Zerocoin and a burn blockchain. So what will happen is you'll send Zerocoin to somebody, and this Zerocoin is just like the Bitcoin blockchain, so you can follow this. But this Zerocoin will get sent over to the burn blockchain, and when they get sent to the burn blockchain creates an identical number of burn tokens as you sent it of Zerocoin, and then the burn tokens get sent to different addresses, and those new addresses basically telling Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, Zerocoin, by telling Zerocoin where to send the transactions. That's the basic function of how it works. So you send from one blockchain over to another. The first blockchain is just like Bitcoin. It's recordable, it's pseudonymous, but the second blockchain literally creates a new coin for each transaction and then destroys the coin at the end of the transaction. So there's literally no knowledge on the second blockchain, but all the relevant data for the transactions is on the second blockchain. The reason why that's important is because there's literally no data to look at. The original blockchain, you can send through just the original blockchain, and so you can have public or private addresses, and so you can choose whether or not to do it publicly or privately. And I've said before, that's absolutely essential in a cryptocurrency. But anyways, the next point that I wanted to talk about is that Zerocoin offers auditability and zero knowledge. Now again, that's a lot to take in. You probably haven't you haven't heard those words before. I just literally explained to you what zero knowledge is. So what's auditability? Well, and just makes sure that the supply is not greater than it should be. Now, I know that sounds weird, and you're like, I thought blockchains were supposed to be hack proof and bug proof, so that they couldn't have more coins than they were supposed to be. I thought that wasn't an issue, and it's like, that's true if the blockchain is configured correctly. The reason, like in Bitcoin, there was an incident where 92 billion Bitcoin were sent to two separate addresses, and so when 92 billion Bitcoin were sent to these addresses, what happened is everyone saw it on the blockchain, and they're like, whoa, that's a bug, what happened? And so they figured it out. One, they rejected that block and just mined a different block that didn't have that transaction in it, because obviously it wasn't valid. And that's how the blockchain works. That's how the blockchain can be said to be bug free, is because if a bug happens, they're just like, whoa, something went wrong. we gotta fix that. So they fix it, and then they just mine a different block, and so the bug never occurs. The problem with zero knowledge is that there's no data on the blockchain. So how do you know if the coin supply is the same? The way Zerocoin does it is just like I said before. It's one-way zero knowledge. So it has the one private blockchain and the one public blockchain. So the public blockchain, as long as there's just an equal amount on the public blockchain, you know nothing wrong has happened. Something like Zero Cash, which actually offers better privacy than Zerocoin, it offers two-way zero knowledge, but two-way zero knowledge, there's no way to check the supply on either side, so it doesn't offer auditability. Now there are ways that you can sort of mimic auditability and basically ensure that if there is any sort of bug that happens in Zero Cash, it's small. And I'll talk about that in my video on Zero Cash, but Zerocoin, you don't have to worry about that at all, and the privacy offered in one-way zero knowledge is still, like, I don't even know how you would trace it. Technically there are ways that you could, like if someone had half of all Zerocoin, you could probably figure it out, but other than that you would have a lot of trouble. Anyways, the next thing that I want to talk about is it offers real-time double spend protection. I'll just cover that real quickly here in the overview, and I'll cover it by saying that because obviously one side of the transactions of Zerocoin, it's one-way zero knowledge, but one side of it's just a normal blockchain, so it offers double spend protection just like Bitcoin does. And then finally it has instant privacy for low fees. The advantage that the privacy of Zerocoin offers above something like Dash, Dash is still slightly less good. It's not as good privacy, but the privacy of Dash is so good that like you have nothing to, like, there's no way anyone could really trace it unless you're basically like a warlord. But anyways, other than having slightly better privacy than Dash, what Zerocoin really has to offer, sir, is instant privacy. With zero knowledge, the privacy is instant. With something like Dash, it takes a little while to mix it, but as I've said before, the privacy for Dash improves the more people use it, so the privacy on Dash is very quick. It's like 15 minutes. Maybe that's what it will be tops, like when it gets going full steam. So if you don't want to wait 15 minutes, ZCoin is better. So ZCoin is slightly better in every way than Dash, but the price of ZCoin right now, it's something like $11. The price of Dash is something like $300. So you can do the math, you can figure that out. But let's go ahead and look at all these things individually. The low market cap, we talked about that already. It's got a 10,000 Bitcoin market cap, so that gives it literally the best bang for its buck in second generation anonymous coins. Now that might not be completely true, and when you watch this there might be new coins coming out, but the thing you have to remember is each coin has to offer something unique. So Dash offers something unique in that it's the perfect mixing coin. There is no coin that mixes better than Dash, and it's got an incredible proof of stake system that really makes all of the other proof of stake systems look really terrible. So Dash has those two things going for it. Something like Zerocoin, it offers one-way zero knowledge, and it's RSA based, so like it's basically the tried and true tested way to have zero knowledge in a cryptocurrency. Something like Zero Cash offers two-way zero knowledge. Something like Monero basically doesn't have a blockchain. I don't really understand too much about that right now, but Monero is very interesting. It's almost like zero knowledge, but I don't really understand it. But each one of those things offers something unique. So one that offers something unique that is so early and has such a small market cap, it's the best bang for its buck out of all of those. So it offers an incredible investor incentives. That's what I have next. And what I mean by investor incentives is that the low price is mainly there. What it will attract most is people who have, or just are willing to throw, a few $100s at it. Like you want to throw $100, will go up. But if the price, like if you look at Zerocoin, it's like Bitcoin but better in every way. And so there's a lot of things that it has going for it. That doesn't mean that the price will rise. The question is, are the things that are unique to Zerocoin unique enough? And are the problems that are unique to Bitcoin big enough to stop Bitcoin? I don't know, but I just think there's a lot of interest in this to investors, because you can literally spend like $10 and get one, and then just hope for a little. Right now, it doesn't have a lot of miners, which, you know, one thing to gauge the health of any sort of network is to look at its hash rate and just make sure it costs a lot of money to try and buy enough hardware to hack the network through the hash rate, which would basically mean you'd have to buy enough hardware to get 51% of the network and hold that ratio for a very long time. But anyways, if the price does rise, it will attract dedicated miners. So it has a low market cap. That's good for investors right now. If you're a miner, I'm not sure that it would be interesting for you to mine this currency. I've never mined before, so I don't know exactly how it would work, but I would assume you would want a higher price, because the supply that it's gonna kick out every day is not going to change. So miners, you might want to watch this coin, and if the price rises, try and get into mining it. I think it uses potentially a different mining algorithm than the Hashcash protocol of Bitcoin, but I couldn't tell you exactly. But the next thing I'm going to talk about is just the RSA system, the RSA algorithm that it uses. So I talked about this before. RSA is trusted throughout every industry. It's been trusted forever. So the security, you don't have to worry about it. Like I said, Zerocoin's main competitor is Zerocash, and Zerocash uses ZK snarks, and those are experimental algorithms. They should work fine. The thing is that like everybody who knows anything in cryptography basically will understand RSAs. I think people who are intelligent with computers, who are good with computers, will really understand it too. I'm not a coder. I understand cryptocurrencies, but I couldn't code them for you. But anyways, there's thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who understand RSAs. There's maybe a couple dozen who understand ZK snarks, and so that's always good, because if there's a problem with RSAs, you know, it'll get fixed immediately. There's a lot of eyes looking at it. If there's a problem with ZK snarks, not many people are looking at it, so that's an issue. The other thing is the RSA allows supply audits. That might just because it's one-way zero knowledge. I don't know if ZK snarks have to be two-way zero knowledge. I think that they do, because one of the big things that Zerocash offers over Zerocoin is that Zerocoin has kind of a large blockchain bloat, and that just means that the amount of data needed to be sent over the blockchain for a transaction, it's larger than Bitcoin's, and so that can make you have problems. So I think Zerocash did the ZK snarks because it was two-way zero knowledge, which made their blockchain bloat very small. But that just means that something like Zerocoin is probably going to have to use side chains and things like the Lightning Network or things like that to help with blockchain bloat. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a computer scientist, so I can't tell you the ins and outs of that. I understand basically the issues that are going on with it. I don't know how they get fixed specifically, so I can't tell you how Zerocoin is going to get over the blockchain bloat. But the reason why they're okay with the blockchain bloat is because they need one-way zero knowledge in order to have the supply auditability, and so that's what we're going to talk about now. The supply audits, once again, that's just to make sure that the amount of coins in supply doesn't change, and the way it does that is because with one-way zero knowledge, there's one blockchain that is what I would call normal. That's the Zerocoin blockchain, and then there's the burn blockchain, where for each transaction, a new coin is minted and destroyed for that transaction. And so all the transactions for Zerocoin occur through the burn blockchain, and that gives it zero knowledge privacy. And it's not all the transactions. You can choose which transactions you go through the zero or through the burn blockchain, so you can choose which transactions are public and which are private. But because each transaction requires both the public and private side, that ensures that the supply never changes. So this is just big because even though these sort of bugs are super rare, and it's only happened I think once in the entire cycle of or the entire existence of Bitcoin, um, if it's happened once, that's an issue. Imagine if that somebody figured out how to do that bug for zero cash, and they created uh, two transactions of 92 billion Zerocoin to two separate addresses, then you had an extra 184 Zerocoin floating around. Well, you can't do that for Zerocoin, but for Zcash, you might be able to do that. Now, the one thing about Zcash is that there's always a certain amount, like Zcash has public and private addresses as well. I think I've got to look into it, but you should be able to, with Zcash, be able to figure out how many coins are currently on the public network, I think, and how many are on the completely private network. The problem with the completely private network is you'll never know how many are on that. You might be able to just still monitor the total supply of the private network and not compromise the privacy of it. But that would still mean you could still have an excess supply on the private network, but you could just ensure that the supply of both networks never exceeded 21 million. And I know that's getting a little bit in there. So Zcash doesn't allow supply audits yet. I don't want to say it never can, because even I can think of some sort of basic ways that it could. But in order for Zcash to allow supply audits, it's going to have to do a hard fork. And a supply audit is completely necessary for coin longevity. And what I mean by that is, if you don't know the total supply of your coin, like, what's the point? Like, if the supply could be artificially inflated, 25,000 times higher tomorrow than it is today, then that coin can be killed in one day. And so you need supply audits. They're absolutely necessary, and Zerocoin has that. Zerocoin is the only, well, there might be other zero knowledge coins, but Zerocoin is the only fully proof of work, fully tested zero knowledge cryptocurrency that's fully tested, I guess, and it also has the lowest market cap, which is just it's a great coin to get into, but and it's also one that is not going to fail. Zero Cash has a huge market cap, but you can't guarantee that Zero Cash is not going to fail. So the next thing that we have here is that Zerocoin also offers real-time double spend protection. So something like Zero Cash that uses two-way zero knowledge, I should say, doesn't offer any real-time double spend protection because it has to go through the blockchain in order for it to be proved not to be double spend transactions. It's already on the blockchain, it just hasn't been confirmed yet, so that's real-time double spend protection because you actually can't spend that from that address again because it's already been spent out of. It just hasn't been confirmed. Well, with something like, because everyone can look and see, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Everyone can validate it. Like, everyone can say, oh, this transaction, like, it's already on the network. It just hasn't been confirmed yet. But with something that uses two-way zero knowledge, until the transaction has been confirmed, you can't prove that it hasn't already been double spent because each transaction already has what's called a key signature on it, and so the key signature has to be confirmed by the network. So if you're using Zero Cash, that means your transactions have to wait a little bit. If you're using Zero Cash, you obviously want extreme privacy, so I don't think waiting I think it's like 2.5 minutes for confirmation. I don't think that's really going to bother that many people. But the one thing that Zerocoin does offer is it offers real-time double spend protection, and so that makes it really easy. You don't have to wait for the confirmation in order to know that the person who's giving you money hasn't already spent that money somewhere else. So that's always big. And then this real-time double spend protection, that applies to both the private and public addresses. Again, because Zerocoin uses one normal blockchain, the Zerocoin blockchain, and one burn blockchain, it gets the best of both worlds. It can have protections from either or both of the blockchains. So that's just always something you have to remember. Again, with Zero Cash, it should, if I don't know enough about Zero Cash, but if Zero Cash has a public and private addresses, the public addresses should have double spend protection, real-time double spend protection, but the private ones should not. But with Zerocoin, you get both. So that's always great. And then finally, it's got instant privacy and low fees. So the one-way zero knowledge that ensures privacy. Like I said before, there's literally nothing to be learned from these transactions that use the zero knowledge blockchain, that use the burn blockchain. There's no data there. So that's great, and because it's zero knowledge, it's instant. Like I said, you can get the same price, or you can get very nearly the same amount of privacy from Dash, but you cannot get that instantly. So Zerocoin is a lot younger than Dash. The price is a lot lower, but because it's young, that also ensures near zero fees, because the mining reward from Zerocoin is so much higher than something like Dash, because it hasn't been halved yet. Actually, I don't know if Dash has been halved yet, but Dash will be halved soon, if it hasn't already. But something like Zerocoin has not been halved, and it will not be halved for probably at least 2 years, if not longer. But so that means the fees on Zerocoin are basically going to be zero for a very long time. And then the final thing here is that of all the coins in existence, only one coin has better privacy than Zerocoin, and that's Zcash. Zcash has better privacy because it uses two-way zero knowledge, but like I said, the two-way zero knowledge might be like too good of privacy, because then it creates problems proving that the total supply of the currency hasn't changed. Again, I have to look into Zcash a little bit. They might be able to prove that the total supply is very close to what it's supposed to be, which would basically be good enough, but I'll have to look into that. But right now, Zerocoin is the only zero knowledge cryptocurrency that is completely proof of work, that also offers the supply auditability, which is a big thing. So again, like, it's got that trade-off with Zcash. Zcash has better privacy, but ZCoin ensures that the total supply can never be bugged, it can never be changed, and that's absolutely essential for any sort of cryptocurrency. But again, like I said, the one thing that's really big on this cryptocurrency is the fact that its market cap is so small. Again, it's like 3.5 million right now. That's tiny. It's like $11 for a coin. What other coin do you look at on the charts that is actually a solid coin that is not worth, at least around $100? There's basically none of them other than ZCoin that I know of. There's Z Classic, but anyways, I'll put out videos on those coins later too. But if you're an investor, I would watch ZCoin just because its price is very low right now, and if you're a miner, I would watch the price. If you see the price jump up, you might be able to swoop in and mine a lot of it before the hash rate goes up and before the difficulty changes. But anyways, that's all I've got on this one. I'll come with more in a little bit.